Hello, I'm Zash, and welcome to episode 28 of my G-Senjou no Maou, or Devil on G-String, Let's Read. Joining me, as always, is my co-reader Faith. I think Kyosuke is kind of completely and totally screwed over. He's betrayed Gonzo, he's turned his back on the Yakuza, all for Tsubaki. And I don't think Gonzo's going to like that. And he's in charge of a lot of very nasty people. So, I'm not sure how much longer Kyosuke has to live. This is the good ending, right? I'm told it is, but doesn't look good for Kyosuke. Anyways, please enjoy. The clock already read 12 midnight. I washed my face to prepare to go out. Just as I finished putting on my coat and reaching for the door, a seemingly perfectly timed guest arrived.
Ellipses.
The uninvited guest walked in without even ringing the doorbell. The footfalls of many shoes echoed across the floor. Good evening. I was just about to visit you. Gonzo glared intently at me from the front of the formation.
Kyosuke.
Yes?
Great place you've got here.
Thank you.
I'm here to help you move.
The hell, I presume?
What an ugly sight.
A sharp gaze streamed from his eyes. Just do as you will. I slowly put my hands over my knees and sat down with my head slightly lowered. This is the position one takes when one surrenders in the mafia business. Everyone around me narrowed their eyes. Sorry for all the trouble I've caused everyone up to this point. You no longer have to worry about it. Gonzo let out a bestial growl. I'd also like you to know that I've broken off all relations with that woman.
Ellipses.
I hope to be of more use in the future.
Ellipses.
And if you see fit to give me the opportunity, I also hope to become a part of your family someday. Many among them began to holler and shout. Until now, though, I have performed work as his son. I've never been an official member of his organization. I just showed the willingness to become a true member of this violence. Some people seemed happy, while I'm sure others were preparing for a power struggle within the group.
Hey, Kyosuke.
Yes?
Are you serious?
There's no other way. I felt extraordinarily desperate, like a true slave to money. I have no need to think about anything else anymore. I just need to be a loyal follower. Of course.
I see.
Gonzo was more expressionless than usual.
In that case, you know what you should be doing now, don't you?
He's testing me. What do you mean? Ow.
Are you an idiot?
Even before Gonzo finished, he had already grabbed me by the collar.
You've got a contract to make good on, don't you?
Tsubaki's home.
Light the place up, boy. Burn it to the ground.
Ellipses. Gonzo's ghost-like eyes searched for any trace of hesitation.
So, are you gonna do it or not?
Arson? This way, I'll truly be forced into a life of crime. I'll have nowhere to turn but the family.
You have no right to refuse.
Considering his personality, it's already a huge blessing to be alive right now. I can only harden my resolve. The only thing I have to show for myself is money anyway. I've lived a worthless life, so I've nothing else to lose. I'll go right now.
Good. Let's make this a big event. Oribe and Ingijima will go with you. I'll show up later.
I bowed my head low. I'm sorry, Tsubaki. I close my eyes and leave a quiet apology in my heart. Megalipses. Ellipses. During the day, this is a noisy, bustling park. At night, It's peaceful and quiet. Shadows of men who didn't belong with these surroundings reared their ugly heads here tonight. Gonzo's ruffians and henchmen.
Haven't lit someone's house on fire since I was a kid.
Even though it's the middle of winter, Ijima is still wearing nothing but an unbuttoned shirt. His stout nipples jiggle at times when he talks. So, you're gonna be one of us now, son? How nice! The underboss, Horibe, laughed as his false teeth sparkled. Horibe is very cunning, just like a hyena. He'll do anything to the weak, but against an opponent of unknown strength, he becomes cautious. Very brutal, but easily controlled. That's probably why he works for Gonzo. Horibe and Iijima, while I often see these two, I've never met the other two guys. Despite the winter winds, they walked casually into the park.
Let's finish this quickly then.
On the way over, I had stopped the car along Central Boulevard to get a piece of lumber from a dumpster.
So, you like to let out a little steam sometime too, eh, Kyosuke-san?
Iijima took a little stab at the lumber with his foot. Yeah, I've had it up to here already, having to deal with a bunch of livestock every day. I, of course, am one such piece of livestock. That makes it 5 dumb animals total on the way to bully Tsubaki's family. I'm not sure how many times I've come to this place. The lights are always off early at Tsubaki's house. At this hour, Tsubaki's father, Tsubaki, Hiroaki, they're all probably asleep. Their old house would easily crumble if an earthquake struck. I mindlessly stare at the scene. I stare, trying my best to suppress my sentimental feelings. My feelings for Tsubaki no longer matter. I heard this was a difficult job for you, son, and it made me wonder what kind of house it was. Lo and behold, it was a piece of crap.
Isn't this just some dog kennel?
The derisive laughter flew up into the cold, dark night. I held my board from the dumpster tightly and walked to the front lawn.
Hey, get out of here! We'll set the house on fire if you don't!
Iijima's forceful din failed to bring any response from inside. Is no one there? No, son. Don't let him fool you. We've come to collect from tons of debtors, and let me tell you, folks use this trick all the time. Horibe spoke happily, and his 2 sidekicks laughed with them.
Damn straight they do. When people try to pull this on me, I like to toss an industrial-strength bug bomb in the window.
Bugs? They laugh as they compare Tsubaki's family to cockroaches. I'll go see what's going on. By yourself, son? After all, it's a life sentence if they catch you actually killing someone.
But it's no big deal if they don't catch you.
I swallowed my bitter smile at Iijima's casual remark. In their minds, it's not a crime if they don't get caught. Well, the young master still's not familiar with our work. He can't help but be a little pathetic, guys. Horibe mocked me with his know-it-all attitude. All right, the rest of us will wait here for a little while. Go ahead and say your goodbyes with the princess. Derisive laughter filled the air again. These guys think I'm just a little runt whose only option is to rely on Gonzo. Since it's the truth, I don't feel offended. I laid the piece of wood down on the lawn and walked towards the front door. I rang the doorbell. No response. After ringing it a few more times, there was still no response. Are they really not home? No, they might be here. It's possible that they're cowering in fear of the Yakuza and hiding inside. These men will probably break the glass, throw a can of gas inside, and light up the house. Ellipses. At that moment, I suddenly realized something. Tsubaki once told me how to get in through the back door. I can sneak in through the back. Tsubaki? My shout echoed through the house with no response. I went through all the bedrooms. No one was home. Every last one of the members of this noisy family had left the house. As I turned on the light and walked through the living room, I saw something familiar. It was laid clearly on the frequently used dining table. Tsubaki's diary. A question appeared in my mind. Why did she leave her diary, which she always carries around, here? Did something happen to her? I reached out for the book. I clenched her rather heavy diary. There was no lock. I easily opened it. Strangely enough, I felt no guilt about looking through another person's personal musings, although I can't say for sure. I seem to remember her giving me permission to read this.
Welcome home, Kyosuke.
What? It's nothing but a message for me. All the other pages have been taken out. However, I don't understand what she means.
It must have shocked you to see no one home. The truth is, we're all staying at my grandma's house by the port. Dad said we wouldn't be safe at home come night time because that's when the bad people come over. Supposedly, we won't be back for at least a week.
They fled across town. It was definitely the correct decision.
Since I can't reach you, the only thing I can do is leave this diary behind. Do you remember? I said you can read it if something happens to me. I guess that's a silly question. Still, no matter what happens, I know you'll come here, and when you do, you'll definitely read this diary.
She believed that I would return here? I rejected her so strongly. Yet she still believed in me?
After all, Kyosuke, your family, right?
Just as my head was beginning to split in pain, I read something even more incredible.
Just a while ago, I talked to Dad about moving out of his house. The reason was, well, it was nothing special. I guess I wanted the compensation money. That's what you call it, right? In any case, it's always good to have more money. Of course, I also didn't like being pestered by scary people. After dating you, Kosuke, I finally understood. Poverty is indeed a terrible thing. So I told Dad that money's more important than anything else.
Money? Important? I muttered to myself and read on.
Dad was really surprised. I rarely see him so angry. Mom and Hiroaki reprimanded me too. But I'm not the good girl you thought I was. I mean, look how mad I got at Harucho. And I hit my own brother. Truth is, I do want to wear beautiful clothes, and I'd love to eat at high-class restaurants. I want to have fun like everyone else, so I want that money they're offering. My allowance could go up if we sold the place. If you're tired of me like this, Kyosuke, then it can't be helped if we break up.
No, I don't care what other people think. These can't be Tsubaki's true feelings. Tsubaki's just trying to help me. She sees that I have no way out, and in order to protect me, she gave up her home. Why? I ground my teeth. Why? Why do you want to save me? Why would you continue to love someone who used you and fed your family to monstrous beasts? And the Tsubaki in this diary makes no sense. The diary's Tsubaki is just like those selfish, indifferent women you see every day along Central Boulevard. Why? 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 I continue my interrogation of the ether, desperately pleading for an answer.
Mom and Dad still don't intend to move away, but I think they'll give in soon. Because, for some reason, they feel they'll go along with my selfish behavior. Surely a kind person wouldn't manipulate their parents like this. Anyway, don't worry about anything. My whole family trusts me.
It was then that I realized it. Tsubaki had never told them the truth. She never told her family about my relationship with the Yakuza. She doesn't want to hurt the family who trusted me. Furthermore, even more importantly, Tsubaki hadn't written a single word about trying to save me. She's only playing the role of a bad girl for my sake. How could someone ever call that hypocrisy? I was amazed at my blindness. No, stupidity, for thinking that Tsubaki was a twisted hypocrite. I was the only twisted one here. My warped mind had caused me to create illusionary malice in those around me, to believe others held evil intentions which they never had. In the end, though, Tsubaki's still Tsubaki, huh? She made up one of her pitiful lies to protect me. Maybe if you keep practicing, you'll be able to fool someone someday. My trembling hands flipped through the diary until I reached the last page.
I love you, Kyosuke. You may think I'm too persistent, but let's live together. Let's all live happily together. My whole family loves you so much. I'll be waiting. Everyone will all be waiting. Tsubaki. Period.
Ellipses. Megalipses. I closed the diary and simply sat there on the floor. This was the living room, where I often chatted with Tsubaki after a bath. I spent the night here many times. How many times have I bitched about the stupid, jovial atmosphere here in this room? I took out my cell phone and called my informant, Mikimoto. Hey, it's me. Yeah, you understand why I called at this hour, right? Take care of it. Ellipses. Ellipses. You certainly took your time, son. Horibe and the other guys were still waiting outside.
Patience has its limits, you know.
The cold wind brushed across my burning face. It was a pleasant feeling. So, is anyone home? No. Horibe licked his lips. So, they scooted off from their crappy house? Well, what are we waiting for?
Let's start off by breaking the windows. Should be hell for them in this cold weather.
With a sly smile, Iijima headed for the front door. I stared at Iijime's large head from behind. Stop! I picked up the board from the grass.
Huh? What did you say?
Before he could turn around, I used all my strength to conk him square in the back of the head. It felt as if I were hitting a piece of metal. After a brief moment, even my waist hurt. A gong-like sound rang out. Iijima lay silently on the ground. The nasty smiles of the other men quickly soured. Horibe's face showed more confusion than surprise. Son, you can't just go doing that now. In an instant, a strange gleam appeared in his eyes. The eyes of a sadist. We're family, right? You think you can just get away with hitting a brother like that? Of course, I don't expect forgiveness. People who use violence can't be seen as weak enough to lose any scuffle. As of this moment, I'm in a fight with the 10,000 plus member SOA Alliance. Son, apologize now before things get out of hand. If you're quick about it, I might even be satisfied with beating you half to death. Horibe and the other guys fanned out, surrounding me. I see. Now I know why the boss asked me to come. I also understand why. In this cold winter weather, Gonzo sent his right-hand man rather than a couple of grunts. Seeing as how we'll be working together in the future, I guess he decided to put me in charge of your education. Again, his mouth curved up. Hey guys, we need to give the young master here a special lecture. Don't you agree, Iijima? I looked at the ground in surprise. Although I don't place much faith in my upper body strength, I still hit him with the intent to kill. Yet, Iijima casually slowly got up like a ghost. Blood dripped down from the back of his head, staining his white shirt. Shocked, ain't you, son? You order us around so much, like you're little pawns, that you can't help but think little of us, that it? Horibe is absolutely correct. I'm too naive. I didn't know there were people who could take a heavy blow to the head and still get up unfazed. I'll kill you! An unknown fear arose in my chest. I suddenly laughed. What the hell am I doing? These guys are professionals at violence. I spent all my time plotting the shadows. How could I possibly win against them in a fight? Nevertheless, I just can't control my emotions. Does that girl really have you wrapped so tightly around her little finger? He walked closer with a savage smile on his face. Is that little shithole more important than us? Horibe questioned my reasoning behind this rebellion. Son, you received so much from your foster father, yet this is how you repay him? At this sentence, the trembling fear in my mind stilled itself and went mute. Tsubaki learned enough from me. Maybe it's time I take a lesson from her. From the girl who tried to save me without saying a word. These hypocrites, with their babbling about repaying favors at the very least. This has nothing to do with women, you fucking scumbags! throwing out lies as transparent as Tsubaki's. I gripped the piece of lumber tightly. Go look in a mirror. Take a nice hard look at those ugly fucking mugs of yours. Ellipses. 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 Megallipses.
Tsubaki wandered aimlessly among the docks of the Western District. She wept inside. Kyosuke's refusal to come with her, or even to speak to her when he locked himself in his study, had pushed her to the brink. It was already 2 in the morning, but Tsubaki was far too worried to sleep. The salty ocean breeze whisked about around her from the dark Pacific, brushing against Tsubaki's face. She thought back to the events of just a few hours ago. Grandma's house. Tsubaki's father, fearing the Yakuza, decided to hide for now. Her father won't change his mind once he decides upon a course of action. Tsubaki herself also wanted to shield her siblings from unnecessary worries, so she didn't speak up against the decision. Hey, Dad, I can't contact Kyosuke-kun. Tsubaki's father tilted his head. Kyosuke-kun's part of the family too, so he might decide to come here. Seemingly aware of Tsubaki's feelings, her father nodded his head and said,
Indeed.
He laughed.
In that case, let's put some food in the fridge.
Kyosuke was the cause behind her family's predicament, but Tsubaki would never tell her family this. After all, she didn't fully believe it herself. Hiroaki threw tantrums about wanting to see Kyosuke every day. A boy whom her family accepted so thoroughly couldn't really be a bad person. Sorry, Dad. There's something I need to talk to you about. After a pause, she faced her father. Would you sell the house? Dropping his jaw in shock, Tsubaki's father quickly asked for a reason. I just don't think we can keep going like this. What are you saying at this point? The whole family looked at Tsubaki dubiously. I'm sorry. I know you worked so hard to get the money to protect this house, Dad, but in the end, look at all the trouble it's caused. Looking at each person's uncomfortable face, Tsubaki continued. I know it's sad to leave this house, but, they're willing to pay a lot of money. And you can just start working the new farmland they've prepared. Dad, what's wrong with that? Why are we so against it? Tsubaki felt an ethereal pain deep within her chest. At the same time, she was shocked at how calmly she could speak such words of betrayal to her family. But with the thought in mind that Kyosuke was also part of her family, her words continued to flow smoothly. Am I saying something totally strange? What if there was an earthquake or a fire? Isn't it unsafe to live in this house? Hiroaki and Sai will be all grown up soon. Are they always going to sleep in the same room? She said everything that she could think of. Tsubaki's father was at a loss for words. He looked at his daughter as if there was something wrong with her. Tsubaki hid behind the despicable mask she built during the kidnapping incident. She didn't care what happened to herself. Her only thoughts lingered with Kyosuke. Is Kyosuke alright? When she left Kyosuke, he looked stranded, like he had nowhere else to turn. Will he run into trouble because we won't move? Will his father do something to him? Please. Please come home, Kyosuke.
Ow.
Oh dear.
The exchange of blows quickly became a one-sided torture session. Being beaten around like a rag doll by 4 men made me lose track of where they were even hitting me. My throat filled with the taste of my own blood. Each time I spat, more and more broken teeth flew from my lips. A pool of blood flooded my vision. I suppose that means I'm lying on the floor. What are those assholes talking about now? My mind is fuzzy, and I can't comprehend anything. I think they're laughing, and I seem to be desperately attempting to shout something. The words drifted unconsciously from my lungs to my lips. I wanted to speak up, to scream my words loudly, but only gargle and drool came out of my mouth. That only served to rile up the bastards even more with laughter. The attempt at speech was followed by a sharp pain enough to snap my foggy awareness into clarity. Water dripped down my hair and face. Water? Icy cold water. My lips, my whole face froze.
You done telling us we can't walk in there with the shoes on?
When did he get here? Azai Gonzo stood before me with several lackeys in tow. I realized that I could move my own head and looked at Gonzo's face.
What's this shithole worth, anyway?
Ellipses.
Hey, Kyosuke, why did you betray me?
His expression was relaxed, but I could still feel the pressure radiating from his gaze. Why, you ask? I opened my blood-filled mouth. Do you really not understand? I even managed to laugh.
Just how much is that whore Tsubaki worth? How much money can she make for you?
Don't be ridiculous.
I don't get it. I mean, I guess if we sell her into prostitution, she could fetch a few $100K a month.
Shut up. I won't let you defile her. I concentrated all my energy into my legs. Biting my lip in the gaps between missing teeth, I stood up. This isn't about the money. I do indeed love money, so I can't lecture you on the topic. But I'm no longer its slave. I'm not one of your livestock anymore. I'm just a normal person now. I want a warm, smiling family and an evening meal with a woman I can trust. And hell, sometimes we common folk do crazy shit like this. Gonzo seemed to be more than perturbed. The cronies behind him looked eager to pounce. Their sharp eyes concentrated on me. So, this is the end.
Ellipses.
You and I, we're through.
Ellipses.
If there's really human blood flowing through your veins, then try to understand. No, try to understand as my father. No matter what, Gonzo saved me from a life of poverty. I still owed him. A wrinkle appeared on my forehead. Thank you for taking care of me all these long years. I bowed down deeply. Not because I felt threatened by the situation, but because deep down in my heart, I respected and honored this man. The atmosphere immediately changed. The threatening looks I got earlier toned down in an instant. Only after the tension dissipated did I raise my head again.
So, when do you plan on scorching this place?
I'm at a loss for words. My eyes opened wide in shock.
You seem to be misunderstanding something. I'm not here to listen to your bullshit.
Ellipses.
Kyosuke.
He used a dark voice. His body looked as if it were about to charge me.
Is this what I taught you, boy?
My whole body froze, and not because of the water poured on me.
Did I ever once tell you to become a human?
He closed it in step by step. He wore an expression that could scare the devil away. A man standing near me let out a gasp and cleared the way in his surprise.
In the end, you pissed on a contract and ran off with a woman.
Sounds like good logic, at least in this situation.
Father, try to understand? If there's human blood running through your veins, then try to understand? Do you think you're in any position to be asking favors?
At that deafening roar, I blacked out for a second. Gonzo truly is a bona fide villain. Despite seeing a kid covered in blood, pleading with every fiber of his being, Gonzo's heart didn't budge a damn inch. I really have to hand it to him. Indeed, I do. However,
Don't you fucking move, Kyosuke!
Gonzo, if you kill me, you're dead too. However, that's why I took some measures of my own. Under the inhuman pressure from Gonzo, I put all my energy into those words. The police will move in and arrest you. With those cold words, Gonzo showed an interrogative look. Sounds crazy, I know. Being the head of the Sowa Alliance should make you immune. Your arrest would cause too many problems for them. Plus, you were once a detective, right? So you must have lots of connections within the police department. I'm also sure you've got plenty of things to blackmail them with. Even in regards to this gig tonight, I'm sure you already took care of the police. I continued to stare into the eyes of the beast, but Has the new deputy police commissioner contacted you yet? With those words, Gonzo's atmosphere changed. He still retained his threatening look, but there was a calculating gleam in his eyes. They say his son was captured recently. Oh, sorry. By that I mean he's under light supervision.
I see.
Gonzo muttered. His expression changed to a more hospitable look.
Word on the street is the kid's a real fuck-up.
You should know. Apparently he's been having some fun at events hosted by that group. The Boys, was it? My informant did a small investigation.
And?
I'm sure you can guess. Supposedly the kid got hooked on some dangerous drugs.
And you use this to blackmail his father?
A very quick deduction. I'm sure right now Gonzo's rationally weighing his desire to kill me against the potential danger towards himself.
The new deputy police commissioner, huh? Yeah, he's finished if his son's habits become public. He probably wouldn't mind taking me out to keep that piddly shit job, even if he had to face opposition from city leaders.
He seemed to have noticed something and studied me with his eyes.
What are my alleged offenses?
Surely there are way too many to name. I know quite a few. Mainly the use of violence to coerce people. Naturally, all the necessary evidence is locked in a safe place.
What if I just kill you right now?
He already knows the answer.
You're betting your own life, eh, Kyosuke?
I will make this clear now. If I'm killed or captured here, my plans will take effect immediately.
I thought as much. But there's something I need to make clear, too.
I know what you're about to say. You'd likely be released immediately from prison, and then Tsubaki and I would both wish we were dead, right?
Right. But this is a tough business. Even if it's just a little while, time in the slammer would hit my position and reputation hard.
My life or your life? Surely you know which one's worth more, am I right?
Your head ain't half bad. But what if I just escaped to Taiwan instead?
I'm sure there'd be rumors. Azai Gonzo's son bashed in his subordinate's head, but Gonzo fled the country to escape the police.
You got that right.
It's rare to see Gonzo with such a hearty smile. I grinned along with him.
Very good, Kyosuke. You did well.
Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. A very smooth negotiation. So, this really is the only way. Only through conflict, through knowing our respective threats and best interests, can we understand each other.
As expected of Azai Kyosuke.
Unfortunately, this is the father-son relationship between Gonzo and I.
What are your demands? Don't be afraid to ask. I'm in a good mood right now.
This house, granted. I know it's going to be a little difficult for the Miwa family to continue living here regardless, but at the very least, you'll have to stay away from this matter.
Okay.
Gonzo nodded without hesitation. In addition, I refuse to do any questionable work, let alone criminal activity. Gonzo thought for a bit.
Don't forget your debt.
I haven't. I'll repay it in full, even if I work myself to death.
Fine. I'll let you go.
Of course. Gonzo isn't truly letting me off like this. I understand that it'll take much more to break off this relationship. Even with all the problems, we're still father and son.
We're pulling out, guys. Iijima, do you have a problem with that?
Before Gonzo, Iijima became meek as a cat. I watched as all of Gonzo's men jumped into the Mercedes and drove away. My body suddenly became numb. Neither my hands nor my feet could work properly, but I didn't have the energy to go to the hospital. After I left my body to gravity and crumpled to the ground, I took out my cell from my breast pocket. Hi. Miki-chan? Yeah. It's me. Yeah. It's finally over. Yeah. You can let the kid go. Tell him not to get into trouble again, or even scarier people will be after him. Huh? The money? All right, your fee. Phew, that's pretty steep. My vision blurred. No, I got you covered. After a deep breath, I responded. I just got some spare change from Papa, after all. Ellipses. Megalipses.
That is a cute top.
Yeah.
Kosuke-kun, did you hear? Eiichi-kun finally got a job.
I guess he graduated from D-Hood. Where did he end up?
That pet store on Central Boulevard, I think. We should throw him a party to celebrate.
Forget it. He'll just ask us for money again.
Oh, who cares? It's a special occasion. We can be a little generous.
Jeez, you're too sweet. You know that?
We should go visit him at work sometime.
But Central Boulevard's so far away. How many hours do you think it'll take to walk there from out here in the Western District?
Who said we had to walk there?
I'll be damned if I'm going to waste money on that.
Oh, come on. Don't you want to see all the cute animals?
We're not buying a pet.
Huh? I thought you loved penguins, though.
Huh?
And your hobby is meditation, isn't it?
What the hell are you talking about?
I swear that's gotta be right. There's a whole chapter devoted to you in my diary and everything.
You got the wrong person, sweetheart.
Oh, that page was about Hoja. Sorry.
Now that's a nostalgic name. How many years has it been since high school graduation? 4? I wonder what Usami's doing these days.
She only transferred to our school for 3 months before moving again.
And no one knows where she went, either. Yet, for some reason, we still get a few words from her here and there. Well, she's still alive.
Yep. I have no idea how she found this address, but sure enough, her telegrams make it here.
Wait, telegrams? Not postcards or phone calls?
Tsubaki, have the two of you gotten married yet? It's mostly things like that.
Marriage, huh?
Yeah.
What?
Nothing, just marriage.
Ellipses. Well, in any case, Kenan's been extremely popular since moving to the States, and it looks like everyone's doing pretty well.
Yeah. Dad's gonna be out of the hospital soon, too.
Right, forgot about that. I can't wait to drink with him again.
I hope he'll still be able to work the fields.
Keep in mind that it's a back injury, and working those fields is what sent him back to the hospital so many times for it already. Who knows how things will turn out?
I can't believe a back pain would make him decide to sell the house.
But they paid him well for it, didn't they?
Yeah, that they did. Dad even squeezed a little extra out of him by raising hell. He kept yelling, "It's your fault my back's like this," and stuff like that.
He made some outrageous demands, but those guys were probably just thanking Buddha that you actually decided to move out. A little money was really worth it for them.
That whole area is so different these days.
It's been 4 years after all.
Just seems a bit lonely, you know?
I think so too. But can you imagine living there, surrounded by hotels and aquariums? It just wouldn't feel right.
Here you go again with your practicality banter.
That redevelopment project had some major clout behind it. No matter how much we resisted, we would have all had to move out in the end, anyway.
I understand that, I just...
Okay, you're absolutely right. Any more discussion, and this delicious dinner will get cold.
Really? You like my cooking?
We've been living together for a year now, and you've been cooking for me the whole time. Think it'd be more impressive if you managed to botch it, personally.
Aren't you glad you found a girl who even loves that attitude of yours?
Yeah.
Speaking of attitude, Hiroaki said he's coming over again today.
What, again? I figured he'd stop clinging to me when we stopped taking baths together.
Our houses are close, what does it matter? Just play with him for a little bit.
If I played with him a little bit every day, we'd go bankrupt. Still sound like a good idea?
Well, not really. You always did love your job more than anything else.
I'm a proper member of the Azai Corporation these days. I work my ass off day and night to clean up our reputation from all those years as a front from Sowa, but
Things aren't going as smoothly as you'd hoped.
all I want to do is call people up and try to build healthy business relationships. But people keep asking for protection and stuff like that. Like you said, it's not going all that smoothly.
Still, I know you've been giving it your best.
Really?
Your face looks less burdened than it did before.
Don't say silly things like that. This business has got me so worked up that my eyebrows are burning off. My debt isn't getting any smaller, no matter how much I pay. I've probably said that a million times already, though.
And yet you still paid for Dad's hospital bill.
Well, since I'm not renting that ridiculously expensive apartment anymore, we can scrape through somehow.
I'm sorry that this house is so small.
You've got that right. I can't even stretch my damn legs in the tub.
Oh, come on. Isn't it fun to be all snug and close in the bath together? I'm happy at least.
Ah, I see.
Oh, Kyosuke-kun.
Oh, the marriage thing, right?
Right.
Don't worry. I've been saving up for that.
I'm not worried about you, Kyosuke. I'm worried about your foster father. Do you think he'll forgive us?
Oh, yeah. That's right. The two of you had only met once. I still can't believe he suddenly showed up like that. I don't think he'll raise any issues about it. He's generally content as long as you can pay him. Though maybe that's understating him a bit.
That's a relief.
But seriously, it's been such a long time.
What's been such a long time? Yeah. I'm really happy.
I can say this because of how close we are now, but at first, I had absolutely no interest in you.
Yeah, I know.
I can't believe that things turned out like this. Life is really hard to figure out sometimes. Ellipses. Ellipses. My mind traveled back to 4 years ago, to the night I was almost beaten to death by the Yakuza men. When I could finally move my body again, I crawled into the Miwa's family's house for a while. My consciousness faded under a ruthless barrage of cold and exhaustion. I huddled in a blanket on the floor and, unmoving, watched for the sunrise.
You're back.
Suddenly hearing a human voice, I poked my face out of the blanket. Don't ask me about what happened.
But your face.
I said, don't ask.
Don't move.
Tsubaki left me in a panic, returning almost immediately.
It has to be disinfected.
Without even the strength to scream, I could do nothing but lie there as a numbing pain began to spread throughout my cheek. Why did you come back? Didn't you go to your grandmother's house? Tsubaki frowned apologetically.
I plan to come back each night. Every time I thought about the fact that you might be waiting here, I couldn't sleep.
I see. I knew that she'd be worried about me, but to this degree.
Does it hurt?
A bit.
Until you get better, at least. Can I stay by your side?
Ellipses. At her timid request, my breath caught in my lungs. Are you really giving up on this house?
I've thought it over. We're talking about it right now.
So, you've betrayed your family?
I wouldn't put it that way, but in the end, I guess that's exactly what happened.
I'm saved.
Yep. Quite the relief, huh?
Well, I would have been saved. But some things happened, and I got reckless. And then I ended up like this. Tsubaki sank into silence. You, your family, and this house are safe for now.
Really?
Yeah. For now. I can't make any promises for the long run, though.
Does that mean we can still live here?
Yeah.
Did you protect us, Kyosuke?
No.
You did, didn't you? That's why you're hurt like this.
I couldn't reply in the face of Tsubaki's urgency. Whether or not they set the actual timbers in this place, This house is something that they built together. A treasure that should be protected. Tsubaki, I'm sorry. It just came out of my mouth. For a lot of things. I'm sorry.
Huh?
I tricked you, suspected you, hurt you. I'm so, truly sorry.
It doesn't bother me.
It should. If these things don't bother you, you'll only lose things in life.
You know I don't understand things like that. I'm just not cut out for it.
I don't know why, but I'm at peace right now. With Tsubaki beside me, even this dark, unpleasant living room feels a little brighter.
You might think I'm stubborn for saying this, but
She is pretty stubborn.
let's live together.
That one sentence held all of Tsubaki's feelings. It's not like she'd say something like, "You had a pitiful childhood, so let me warm your heart." That's probably not her intent either. In fact, it's precisely the simple clumsiness of her words that communicates their sincerity.
I do get real jealous and all, but if we're living together, we'll see each other every day.
She uses her own convenience as an excuse to urge me to return home. Of course, there's probably some degree of truth to that. However, only now do I finally understand the warmth and kindness hidden behind those words. Hey, Tsubaki, do you remember
Remember what?
the time you found out about my mother?
Yeah,
What did you think about that?
I felt sorry for you.
Sympathy, huh?
Yes. I knew it would hurt you, but I still let you see my pity. I'm so sorry for that.
You're an honest one. In retrospect, is accepting sympathy really all that bad? How would it hurt me? That incident was nothing more than my narrow, self-abased heart causing me to throw a temper tantrum in the face of Tsubaki's straightforward, honest feelings. I just didn't want to expose my worthless self to the brand new mirror that was Tsubaki. So, are you sure you want to be with someone like me? She said,
Of course.
slightly choked by her tears. She tried to hold them back and gently laid her hand on mine. Without hesitation, I clasped her palm.
Welcome home, Kyosuke.
Thank you, Tsubaki. Ellipses. Megalipses. My salvation can be attributed to Tsubaki. We're cultivating happiness together in this world. We live a poor, yet colorful life. Tsubaki.
What?
Seeing her refreshing smile, I suddenly forgot what I was about to say. Oh, what was it?
You're weird, Kyosuke.
That unchanging innocent, just like a young girl.
Oh, hey, isn't your mother out of the hospital today?
I heard the sound of our front door opening. Right. My mother had been called here from Hokkaido.
Welcome back. Dinner's waiting for you.
The expression on Mum's haggard face brightened at her lively voice.
Come on, let's all eat together.
Tsubaki left her seat to greet her. I followed, not wanting to lag behind, all the while thinking about just how much my family had grown. And that's Tsubaki's ending.
That was thoroughly satisfying.
Yep.
I enjoyed that.